Hello boys and girls, welcome to the first explain video. As you can see, I have troubles recording it on 3 monitors. It is only 10 frames per second, 11 maybe. It is really big, too much to ask from my current system. I have set all the rendering options to the fastest performance. Without recording, I have about 50 frames per second, but while recording in frames, I have 10 frames per second. Nevertheless, we will try it. So basically, you don't see anything because everything is disabled. We are currently stationed in Braunschweig-Wolfsburg runway with a Cessna N72 SP. I will show you how to start this plane as far as I have learned it. You put on the battery alternator, fuel pump is already on, beacon light, navigation light and strobe light, and then of course you want to put on the avionics. It's all these devices in here in this panel. You want to set up the fuel mixture full wet. I don't know whether it's called full wet, but I call it this. I mean the full high octane mixture, and turn up the engine so you get gas and start up the engine. Yeah, it's starting. And there is many things to consider here, like planning your flight ahead. So let's do it in a bit. So Braunschweig-Wolfsburg EDVE is the international runway code. We will fly a bit towards the hailing and VOR and then turn around and land again. Maybe do another takeoff and another landing from the other direction. Oh yeah, the VOR, what is its frequency? 117.30. We can set it on here. Navigation 117, what was it exactly? 117.30. We should listen. I don't know the Morse code. It's S L. What is the I don't know the third one. It's SL something, hopefully. No, H. Oh, okay, it's four dots. HLZ, okay. HLZ. That's the VOR we want to fly towards to. So let's punch it. We have a slight crosswind, so I have to take care of it with my rudder pedals. Once we reach a certain speed, I will take off. About 60 knots. I usually take off at 60 knots. Yeah, and retract the flaps. I mean, the flaps were retracted before, I think. Unfortunately, you can't see anything of the nice scenery. Usually, when I play and don't record it, I see a lot of nice things like streets and cars and trees. It's all disabled for the sake of better frame rate. Otherwise, we would have 9 frames per second, which would be almost unbearable. The problem with recording not Flight Simulator, but recording X-Plane is that it only supports recording from if you have Macintosh and QuickTime Movie, and you have to have a 32-bit operating system, which is just not possible today. Everybody has a 64 bits. I no longer need to listen to that NAV1 VOR. I think we can. Oh, actually, I want to fly towards it. And I want to fly towards it in a, yeah, I don't know, let's say (240). Actually, no, well, it's not 240. I mean something like 60 degrees. But I don't think we have to trouble with the VOR this time. Just to show you a quick landing here. 1 or 2 landings. I will fly for a little while. I can reduce the power a bit. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so the radial I want to approach this point with this, I've set up to 60, which is a bit irrelevant for what we want to do. I might just as well ignore it. So this is not how X-Plane looks like. Usually when you look outside, you see all kind of detail. This is really the bare minimum. It can't get any worse like that. But recording it on a triple screen setup, I want to see somebody do it. Recording X-Plane on a 3-screen setup with a Windows 7 64-bit system or Windows 8. X-Plane is very, very demanding for a raw graphic computing power. It wants. There is no such computer setup which would really run X-Plane smoothly with all the details on. So we have climbed about 1600 feet, and okay, I can see we can now approach the VOR slowly. now 30 degrees. We are 30 degrees into the corner. 28 maybe. But I think I'll take the... yeah. We should be able to see the runway back there. I'll take another such corner, maybe at 20 degrees. Trying not to lose any speed or altitude. Almost there. Should be able to see the runway somewhere. I can't really see it. The rendering details are so low, it's almost like flying at night with instruments only. Oh, there is it. There it is. I can see it already. So we can already starting to reduce power and losing altitude. We also actually I want this full mixture. Keep it enabled. Sometimes it helps you landing when you decide to not to land and just take off again. It's easier. I will try to trim the plane to the current wind conditions, so it's I don't need to touch my stick here, and the plane still won't fly with the wind, but it will stay on course more or less. As we descend, we'll see that our velocity or airspeed will increase just because we are flying downwards. But what we actually need is to reduce speed. So I'll try to lose altitude a bit more quickly. And I guess this pole here, I don't know how to call it, on what is it, but I think it's in the same direction as the runway is pointing, so we try to fly straight above that to align with the runway. We still have 100 knots of speed, right? Or 90 something. 95. That's okay for this distance. Knots, we are slowly losing speed. When the arrow of the speedometer drops to 85, to that marked range of 40 to 85, that's the range where you are meant to use flaps. So I'll enable flaps. Maybe it's a bit more speed here. Way low above the ground. Very low altitude. You can't really tell how high above the ground we are. Okay, and I think we should engage flaps right now and reduce the power even more. We have a little bit of a crosswind from the right now. I'll engage flaps one more degree, so it's about half flaps now. To lose more speed, and we will slowly descend. Hopefully make a soft landing. I think I'm way off my course, but the runway is broad enough and wide enough. Flaps one more time, and then I starting to pull the nose up. Soft touchdown, hopefully. Well, yes, I think you could do that, although we are not in the middle of a runway, which is not how it's supposed to be. We should have landed in the middle of the runway. Yeah, but I'll try another time. Another time being now. So let's go for another takeoff. Disable flaps and unbrakes. Disable brakes and punch it, and you see, I didn't even enable the landing light. I'm not so skilled with the lights yet. So if you notice any, I want to actually fly by the rules of real world. So if you see me doing some horrible mistakes, which a pilot should never do, then tell me, and I'll try to get better next time. I'll try to trim the plane. We are gaining altitude. The tachometer shows 2500 RPM, which is almost at the very limit of what this plane can do. Maybe we are flying slow. Probably I didn't check the setup of this flight. Probably it's set up with lots of fuel and lots of cargo, which is not what I wanted. Next time I'll set up something lightweight, and let's fly a bit here. I really enjoy this 3-screen view. It's amazing, especially when you're not recording and have a higher frame rate. The tracker device here really gives you a nice view. If you want to see out, you can even see outside of the plane. If you want to see what's below us, you can see below us, or from the side, you know, or another side. It's possible. It's very nice. A great view. If you want to see any of these instruments, you can just go. Normally it's not so. Normally when not recording, the frame rate is much better than that. Than this, what you can see, we are currently running at 10 frames per second, which is a big shame. But my computer cannot do better with it on a 3-screen setup, and I want to render this for you in a 3-screen resolution. So enabling the map again, you can see that we are this is the runway, or this is the other runway. I think it's about time we start to turn. or maybe just fly a bit, a little bit more. But let us climb to 1,500 feet and then start the descent and the landing approach. I can also try to make it a 60-degree corner or 60-degree turn. I'll try to first to stay at level with my altitude, which is 1,500. Probably normally we wouldn't be allowed to fly this low. I think we're supposed to fly at least 2,000 feet here, but I'm not quite sure what the regulations say. We also need to reduce the speed a bit, or the RPM of the motor at 2,400. And I'm now trimming the plane. That means I'm finally adjusting the ailerons and the basically just the ailerons of the plane and the I don't know what this thing is called, which changes your pitch, but I'm adjusting that as well. You can see this wheel turning. This one, that's the pitch fine adjustment. Yeah, and now I'm trying to go a 60-degree turn without losing altitude or speed. I'm losing altitude way too much. I'm trying to counter it with my rudder, but probably no, we have not do that. I don't know where we actually ended up. We should have ended up. Yeah, it's almost done. The 180 turn. It's still hard not to lose any altitude. Okay, we'll turn a 60-degree turn another time. And this wasn't really the time to do it, and the speed and the condition. I can see the runway there again. Now we can fly along the river for a while until we meet the level of the runway. And we've lost about 300 feet doing that maneuver. I guess you normally aren't allowed to do such maneuvers. It's almost acrobatic what we did now, and it's not what you do in this kind of flight. Yeah, I think we can align now with the runway, reduce the speed, start reducing the speed early enough. You can always increase the speed if you decide not to land, but you can hardly decrease the speed any faster than than you can in the air. How do you brake in the air? Because you are bound to gain some speed by descending. And you need a slow speed before you can switch on the flaps. Usually 85 knots maximum for the flaps to be used. So we are now 95 knots. 95 knots. Descending about 13.5. No, actually. Something about between 5 and 10 degrees, 6, 7, 8 degrees. I'm aiming to land on the first white bar, then we can see across the runway. So now we have the speed of about 85. I'm switching off the flaps to the first degree. Switching them once more. 2/3 of flaps. And I'll try a soft landing. 3rd degree. I'll put some more speed again. And again, try to pull up my nose and land on the rear wheels first, reducing the gas now. Very nice, very soft. Full brakes. I mean, this was one of my best landings now so far. A very soft landing. Engaging the brakes, I think I can. Let's just switch off the. Normally you wouldn't switch off an engine like this. You would probably taxi to a safe place, not stay on the runway like this. But for now, this should be enough. I want to show you the replay mode of X-Plane. We can see the last moments of this landing in different views, of course. So this is where how we landed, and we will compare it to my first landing in this session later on, but currently how we can zoom out with dot and comma. You zoom out and on, in and out of the plane. And I'll try to see the landing from here. How actually, what was the landing angle here? How slowly I descended. Yeah, this is the flaps. You can see the flaps fully engaged here. Very slow and soft descend here. Yeah, it could be a tiny bit softer, I think, but it was very fine, I think. Very nice. And the braking, I think I used lots of the brakes. In a plane when you're braking, the brakes are actually so they have to absorb so much energy that they are used up very quickly. So the brakes, actually you count the number of landings in a plane, and after a certain amount of landings you have to service the brakes. It's not like in a car where you go to a service after, I don't know, 10,000, 20,000 kilometers. In a plane you go to service the brakes after, I don't know, so many landings. And it's not too high, the number is not too high, so it's a number of a few dozens of landings. You have to exchange the brakes because they are so used up. It's such a great energy they have to absorb and transform into heat, that they are used up very quickly. Now let's see my first landing in this session. I think it was much worse. We are slowly I don't know actually how fast we are descending. It's hard to tell with all the details off, but we are descending much faster. Oh, or slightly faster, I think. At least now. I still have corrected the course here, and this is where it wasn't so bad either. I see. The landing angle could be a bit higher. The nose could have been a bit higher up when landing here. A bit more delay. The rear wheels and the front wheel landed almost simultaneously. That's not how you're supposed to do it. The nose should be way more up. Let's say, I don't know, 3 to 5 degrees more up, and the front wheel should touch the ground later on. Yeah, but both landings were quite okay. We can see them again from a different perspective. Yeah, here. That was the first one, and let's see the second one. It was okay. I should have reduced the power of the engine before braking, of course. It's not funny. If you have any comments on that, if you know flying better than me, please tell me. I want to learn to fly properly. I'm even thinking about doing a private pilot license next year. But next time I want to try something with navigation and VOR and some stuff, some curve stuff. At least that's what I've learned so far. Hope you enjoyed it a bit. See you next time.